Okay, so good morning, everybody. Today we will be starting with the part 2 of the chapter, that is the best Christmas present in the world. So, previously we have learned that there are the author or the person get goes to a person goes to a junk shop, and then he finds a roll top desk. Okay, and then in that roll top desk he finds that it is damaged, and it has to be repaired. So what happens is he finds the drawer. He tries to open all the drawers and check for the damages. So now, and after opening all the damages, what happens is he finds that the last drawer was stuck, and he tries to open it by force, and after opening it he finds a secret section in the drawer in which he finds another small letter. Okay, so now we will see that what was written in that letter and why it was important. Okay, so that becomes the part 2. The entire part 2 consists of the letter, and from this letter and from the previous one, and from the date we come to know that it is a letter written during the times of the First World War, right? So from the letter we will come to know that what is the thing what is the thing that is written, and this letter will give an idea that from whom it was written, and who was the person, what kind of job he did, and what was his outlook towards the life. So I will just read a little bit of paragraph what is there, right? So what was there in the letter, right? So it is written, "Dear Connie, I write to you in a much happier frame of mind because something wonderful has just happened that I must tell you about at once. We are all standing in our trenches every yesterday morning. It was Christmas morning. It was crisp and quiet all about, as beautiful a morning as ever I have ever seen, and frosty as a Christmas morning should be." So this paragraph describes what this paragraph describes about a winter morning. So how do we know that it is a winter morning? From the word Christmas, right? We can know that it happens in December, and we all know that it is not set in India. So the Christmas is the December or the month is very chilly, or it's very cold, right? So it was very quiet and beautiful. So in the first paragraph, the author of the letter describes that how beautiful the morning was on the Christmas. So next, see what happens. "I should like to be able to tell you that we began it, but the truth I am ashamed to say is that Fritz began it." So here the Fritz is the word. Fritz is not the name of any person or something. Fritz is the common term word that is used for the German soldiers, right? Fritz is not any person. Fritz here is a German soldier, and there is another term that is used for the British soldiers, that is Tommy, right? So Tommy and Fritz are not different person, but they are the common terms used collectively as for the British soldiers. British soldiers is Tommy, and for Fritz it's the German soldiers. So he tells then they were calling out to us from across the no man's land, "Happy Christmas, Tommy, Happy Christmas." When we got over the surprise, some of us shouted back, "Same to you, Fritz, same to you." I one of them was up there in the grey greatcoat and waving a white flag. "Don't shoot, lads," someone shouted. And no one did. Then there was another Fritz up on the parapet, and another. "Keep your heads down," I told them. "It's a trick," but it wasn't. So in this particular paragraph, we can see that it was how the two soldiers communicated, right? How the two soldiers from different parts or different fought for different countries, and their priorities were so different, how they were greeting each other during the Christmas. So Christmas is a festival that unites everybody. So here we can see an aspect that soldiers are not only soldiers, but also but they are also what, but they are also human beings, right? Apart from being a soldier, this letter and the description in this letter also shows that the soldiers are better. Soldiers are also human beings who leads a normal life, who does not want this war. In further sections of the letter, when we will go through it one paragraph by another, we will come to know that these soldiers are not some special people, or they don't only fight, and they are not aggressive by nature. Their job is of such nature, but actually they are not. But because when they start conversing with each other, they're just common beings, right? And even though there are boundaries, they are from different countries and they are fighting for another country, they are simple human beings. Because when one soldier talks with the other one, for example, there is Hans Wolf and Dusseldorf, when these two people talk with each other, they find that they have many common interest, right? They have many common interest, and they are not so different as human being as it is. So as when they are, as it is said, that their uniforms may be different, but from the heart they are almost just as normal human beings. So what happened is, what happened on that particular morning is, on the Christmas morning is, he tells that it would be very proud to tell that we Tommies began it. Means he was the person who was writing the letter, was from the British army, and he told that it would be very it would be very proud that we started the friendly gesture. But to be very honest, it was not them, not the Tommies, but the Fritz who started and took the initiative, that uh, let's start about this friendly gesture by wishing the happy Christmas. Okay, so when they did when the Fritz started wishing happy Christmas, what happened was, there was other people also who started coming in by waving their grey coat. Okay, by waving their grey coat, and white flags. It was very important, right? Because white flags initiated or symbolized that they were not coming for a fight. Okay, so the person who was writing it, that is Jim McPherson thought that it is a trick, right? Because when you are in such war zone, you do not suddenly start accepting the friendly gestures, right? But it was not a trick, it was not a play, it was not a thing that would trap the Tommies and then attack them. So gradually he also, when everybody started enjoying and everybody replied back from this side, from the Tommy side also they replied back, then he gradually realized that no, it is not a trick, but it was a genuine gesture of friendship from the other part of the from the other side of the another country. So we all know that there is a place which nobody holds accounts for between the two countries, right? There is a space between the two borders which is called no man's land. Because this is no man's land, because there is no country can lay their orders on that, right? No countries has their authorities on that particular piece of land. It is just free, it is just for use, right? So sometimes these soldiers can use that land as for holding some event or something during some special occasion, as in this, right? So what happened, we will go to the next paragraph. One of the Germans was waving a bottle above his head. It is Christmas Day, Tommy. We have schnapps and we have sausages. We meet you. Yes, by this time, there were dozens of them walking towards us across no man's land, and not a rifle between them. Little Private Morris as first up. Come on, boys. What are we waiting for? And then there was no stopping them. I was officer. I should have stopped them there and then, I suppose, but the truth is that it never even occurred to one I should. All along their line and ours, I could see them walking slowly towards one another. Grey coats, Kakikos meeting in the middle, and I was one of them. I was a part of this. In the middle of the war, we were making peace. So in this particular paragraph, it is seen, it is showed through the words that between, there was a warlike situation, right? I said that it is written in 1915, so it was in the middle of World War One, right? So the two countries, the British and this German soldiers, they were fighting with each other. Okay, so but in between that, on December 25th, what happened is they just forgot that they were in the war, and they just wanted to celebrate the day, because this Christmas is particularly meant for all the loved ones, and apart from the away from their home, this all these soldiers to each other were their family. So they wanted to celebrate this day just as normal person would. So what happened is that Jim McPherson says that I was in charge of all the battalion, and I should have stopped them and there, but I did not, right? I was also a part of the entire celebration. So he wanted to tell that I wanted to stop this as on the grounds of duty, but as a human I could not, but and I also became a part of it. So part of it. So till here we will learn today, and from the and for the next class, and we will learn the and we will learn all the next paragraphs in the next class, right?